to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. All glories to the worldwide devotees Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila, Chapter 16, Text 57. Prabhura Priya Vyanjana Sabarandhin Malini Bhakchedasi Abhimana Snehete Janani. The Lord's favorite vegetables were cooked by Malini Devi, the wife of Srivas Thakur. She devotedly considered herself a maidservant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in affection she was just like a mother. 58. Acharya Ratna Adiyata Mukhya Bhakta Gana Madhe Madhe Prabhure Kardena Nimantrana. All the chief devotees headed by Chandrasekhara, Acharya Ratna, used to extend invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu periodically. 59. Chaturmasya ante puna nitya nande lana ki bhayukti kare nitya nibrite vashiya. At the end of the 4-month Chaturmasya period, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again consulted with Nityananda Prabhu daily in a solitary place. No one could understand what their consultation was about. 60. Acharya Goshani Prabhu ke kahe tare tore Acharya tara japare ke ha bhujite na pare. Then Srila Advaita Acharya said something to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through gestures and read some poetic passages which no one understood. 61. Tanramukha dekhi hase sachira nandana angikara jani acharya karena nartana. Seeing the face of Advaita Acharya, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled. Understanding that the Lord had accepted the proposal, Advaita Acharya started to dance. 62. Ki bha prarthana ki bhagya ke hana bhujila alingana kari prabhu tandre vidhaya dila. No one knew what Advaita Acharya requested or that the Lord ordered. After embracing the Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade him farewell. 63. Nityanande kahe Prabhu sunaha Sripada ehiyami magitumi karaha prasada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Nityananda Prabhu, "Please hear me, O holy man, and now request something of you. Kindly grant my request." 64. Prativarsha nilachale tumina ashiva nodherahi mora icha sapala kariva. Do not come to Jagannath Puri every year, but stay in Bengal and fulfill my desire. Purport. The mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to spread the only medicine effective in this fallen age of Kali, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Following the orders of his mother, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was residing in Jagannath Puri, and the devotees were coming to see him. However, the Lord felt that this message must be spread very elaborately in Bengal, and in his absence there was not a second person capable of doing it. Consequently, the Lord requested Nityananda Prabhu to stay there and broadcast the message of Krishna consciousness. The Lord also entrusted a similar preaching responsibility to Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Nityananda Prabhu was requested not to come every year to Jagannath Puri, although seeing Lord Jagannath greatly benefits everyone. Does this mean that the Lord was refusing Nityananda Prabhu a fortunate opportunity? No. One who is a faithful servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must execute his order, even if one has to sacrifice going to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Jagannath there. In other words, it is a greater fortune to carry out Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order than to satisfy one's senses by seeing Lord Jagannath. Preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult throughout the world is more important than staying in Vrindavan or Jagannath Puri for one's own personal satisfaction. Spreading Krishna consciousness is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Therefore, his sincere devotees must carry out his desire. Prithivite acheyata nagaradi grama sarvatra prachara haibe moranama. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya must preach Krishna consciousness in every village and town in the world. That will satisfy the Lord. It is not that one should act whimsically for his own personal satisfaction. This order comes down through the parampara system, and the spiritual master presents these orders to the disciple so that he can spread the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the duty of every disciple to carry out the order of the bona fide spiritual master and spread Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. 65. Tahan siddhi karehena anyena dekhiye amhara dushkara karma toma haite haye. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "You can perform a task that even I cannot do. But for you, I cannot find anyone in Gaura Desha who can fulfill my mission there." Purport. Lord Chaitanya's mission is to deliver the fallen souls of this age. In this age of Kali, practically 10% of the population is fallen. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu certainly delivered many fallen souls, but his disciples mainly came from the upper classes. For example, he delivered Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and many others who were socially elevated but fallen from the spiritual point of view. Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were situated in government service, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the topmost scholar of India. Similarly, Prakashananda Saraswati was a leader of many thousands of Mayavadi sannyasis. It was Srila Nityananda Prabhu, however, who delivered persons like Jagai and Madhai. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, Amhara dushkara karma toma haite haye. Jagai and Madhai were delivered solely by Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. When they injured Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya became angry and decided to kill them with his Sudarshan chakra. But Nityananda Prabhu saved them from the Lord's wrath and delivered them. In the incarnation of Gaura Nitai, the Lord is not supposed to kill demons, but is supposed to deliver them by preaching Krishna consciousness. In the case of Jagai and Madhai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry that he would have immediately killed them. But Nityananda Prabhu was so kind that he not only saved them from death, but elevated them to the transcendental position. Thus, what was not possible for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was carried out by Nityananda Prabhu. Similarly, if one is true to Gaura Nitai's service in the disciplate succession, he can even excel Nityananda Prabhu's service. This is the process of disciplate succession. Nityananda Prabhu delivered Jagai and Madhai, but a servant of Nityananda Prabhu, by his grace, can deliver many thousands of Jagai and Madhai. That is the special benediction of the disciplate succession. One who is situated in the disciplate succession can be understood by the result of his activities. This is always true as far as the activities of the Lord and his devotees are concerned. Therefore, Lord Shiva says, Radhanam Sarvesham Vishnur Radhanam Param Tasmat Puratranam Devi Tadhiyanam Samarchanam. Of all types of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is best, and better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotee, the Vaishnava. This is in the Padma Purana. By the grace of Vishnu, a Vaishnava can render better service than Vishnu. That is the special prerogative of a Vaishnava. The Lord actually wants to see his servants work more gloriously than himself. For instance, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Shri Krishna provoked Arjuna to fight because all the warriors on the battlefield were to die by Krishna's plan. Krishna himself did not want to take credit, rather he wanted Arjuna to take credit. Therefore he asked him to fight and win fame. Tasmat tvam utista yaso labhasva jitva satrun buncha rajam samadrodam. Mayevete nihata puravam eva nimita matram bhava savya sachin. Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Bhagavad Gita 11.33. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives credit to a devotee who performs any heavy task perfectly. Hanumanji, or Vajrangaji, the servant of Lord Ramachandra, serves as another example. It was Hanumanji who jumped over the sea in one leap and reached the shore of Lanka from the shore of Bharatavarsha. When Lord Ramachandra chose to go there, he paved the way with stones, although by his will the stones were able to float on the sea. If we simply follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions and follow in the footsteps of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, this Krishna consciousness movement can advance, and even more difficult tasks can be performed by the preachers remaining faithful to the service of the Lord. (66) Yachananda kaheyami dehatu me prana deha prana vinana he eita pramana. Nityananda Prabhu replied, O Lord, you are the life and I am the body. There is no difference between the body and the life itself, but life is more important than the body. (67) Achintya Shakti Kare Tumi Tahara Ghatana Ikara Se Ikari Nahika Niyama. By your inconceivable energy, you can do whatever you like, and whatever you make me do, I do without restriction. Purport. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hrida Ya Adi Kavaye. Lord Brahma is the first living creature within this universe, and he is also the creator of this universe. How is this possible? Although he is the first living entity, Lord Brahma is not in the category of Vishnu Tattva. Rather, he is part of the Jiva Tattva. Nonetheless, by the grace of the Lord who instructed him through the heart, Tene Brahma Hrida, Lord Brahma could create a huge universe. Those who are actually pure devotees of the Lord are instructed by the Lord through the heart, where the Lord is always situated. Isvaraha sarva bhutanam hrideshe rujana tistati. Bhagavad Gita 18.61. If he follows the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity, even though an insignificant creature, can perform the most difficult tasks by the Lord's grace. Lord Krishna confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham shatata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam vadhami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayante. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Everything is possible for a pure devotee because he acts under the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through his inconceivable energy, a pure devotee can perform tasks that are supposed to be very, very difficult. He can perform tasks not even previously performed by the Lord himself. Therefore, Nityananda Prabhu told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Yekraha se kari nahika niyama. I do not know by what regulative principle I am carrying out this wonderful work, but I know for certain that I will do whatever you desire. Although the Lord wants to give all credit to his devotee, the devotee himself never takes credit, for he acts only under the Lord's direction. Consequently, all credit goes to the Lord. This is the nature of the relationship between the Lord, his devotee, between the Lord and his devotee. The Lord wants to give all credit to his servant, but the servant does not take any credit, for he knows that everything is carried out by the Lord. 68. Tamre Vedaya Dila Prabhu Hari Alingana Ehi Mata Vedaya Dila Sabha Bhakta Gana. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Nityananda Prabhu and bade him farewell. He then bade farewell to all the devotees. 69. Kulina Grami Purvavat Kaila Nivedana Prabhu Agya Kara Amara Kartavya Sadhana. As in the previous year, one of the inhabitants of Kulinagram submitted a petition to the Lord, saying, My Lord, kindly tell me what my duty is and how I should execute it. 70. Prabhu Kahe Vaishnava Seva Nama Sankirtana Uikara Sigra Pabe Shri Krishna Charana. The Lord replied, You should engage yourself in the service of the servants of Krishna and always chant the holy name of Krishna. If you do these two things, you will very soon attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. 71. Teno kahe ke Vaishnava ki Tandra Lakshana Tabehasi kahe Prabhu Jani Tantra Mana. The inhabitant of Kulinagram said, Please let me know who is actually a Vaishnava and what his symptoms are. Understanding his mind, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and gave the following reply. 72. Krishna nama nirantara yanhara vadane Sei Vaishnava sresta bhaja tamhara charane. A person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that any Vaishnava who is constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord should be considered to have attained the second platform of Vaishnavism. Such a devotee is superior to a neophyte Vaishnava who has just learned to chant the holy name of the Lord. A neophyte devotee simply tries to chant the holy name, whereas the advanced devotee is accustomed to chanting and takes pleasure in it. Such an advanced devotee is called Madhyama Bhagavata, which indicates that he has attained the intermediate stage between the neophyte and the perfect devotee. Generally, a devotee in the intermediate stage becomes a preacher. A neophyte devotee or an ordinary person should worship the Madhyam Bhagavat, who is a via medium. In his Upadresamrita 5, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Panatibhischa bhajantamisham. This means that Madhyama Adhikari devotees should exchange obeisances between themselves. The word nirantara, meaning without cessation, continuously, constantly, is very important in this verse. The word antara means interval. If one has desires other than a desire to perform devotional service, in other words, if one sometimes engages in devotional service and sometimes strives for sense gratification, his service will be interrupted. A pure devotee, therefore, should have no desire other than to serve Krishna. He should be above fruitive activity and speculative knowledge. In his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Anyabhilasita sunyam jana karmari anavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. This is the platform of pure devotional service. One should not be motivated by fruitive activity or mental speculation, but should simply serve Krishna favorably. That is a first-class devotion. That is first-class devotion. Another meaning of antara is this body. The body is an impediment to self-realization because it is always engaged in sense gratification. Similarly, antara means money. If money is not used in Krishna service, it is also an impediment. Antara also means janata, people in general. The association of ordinary persons may destroy the principles of devotional service. Similarly, antara may mean greed to acquire more money or enjoy more sense gratification. Finally, the word antara may also mean atheistic ideas, by which one considers the temple deity to be made of stone, wood, or gold. All of these are impediments. The deity in the temple is not material. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Similarly, considering the spiritual master an ordinary human being, Gurushu Nara Mati, is also an impediment. Nor should one consider a Vaishnava a member of a particular caste or nation. Nor should a Vaishnava be considered material. Charanamrita should not be considered ordinary drinking water, and the holy name of the Lord should not be considered an ordinary sound vibration. Nor should one look on Lord Krishna as an ordinary human being, for he is the origin of all Vishnu tattvas. Nor should one regard the Supreme Lord as a demigod. Intermingling the spiritual with the material causes one to look on transcendence as material and the mundane as spiritual. This is all due to a poor fund of knowledge. One should not consider Lord Vishnu and things related to him as being different. All this is offensive. In the Bhakti Sandarbha 265, Srila Jiva Goswami writes, Namaikam yasya vachi smaranam patagatam iti yado deha dravinari nimittaka pashanda sabdena chadasa aparadha lakshante pashanda mayatva tesham. In the verse beginning, Namaikam yasya, we find the word pashanda, godlessness. The word literally indicates misuse of one's body or property, but in that verse it implies the 10 offenses against the Lord's holy name, since each of these leads to such godless behavior. The Mayavadis look on Vishnu and the Vaishnavas imperfectly due to their poor fund of knowledge, and this is condemned. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.46, the intermediate Vaishnava is described as follows. Ishvaretad arhineshu valisheshu dishatsu cha prema maitri krupha peksha yaha karoti sa madhyama. The intermediate Vaishnava has to love God, make friends with the devotees, instruct the innocent, and reject jealous people. These are 4 functions of the Vaishnava in the intermediate stage. In the Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya lila 22.64, Sri Sanatana Goswami is taught, Shraddha Vanjanahaya Bhakti Yadhikari Uttama Madhya Makani Stasradha Anusari. One who is faithful is a proper candidate for devotional service. In terms of one's degree of faith in devotional service, one is a first class, second class, or neophyte Vaishnava. Shastra yukti nahi jane dridha shraddha havan Madhyama Adhikari se Mahabhagyavan. One who has attained the intermediate stage is not very advanced in shastric knowledge, but he has firm faith in the Lord. Such a person is very fortunate to be situated on the intermediate platform. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila 22.67. Rati Prema Taratmaye Bhakta Taratama. Attraction and love for God are the ultimate goal of devotional service. The degrees of such attraction and love distinguish the different stages of devotion: neophyte, intermediate, and perfectional. Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila 22.71. An intermediate devotee is greatly attracted to chanting the holy name, and by chanting he is elevated to the platform of love. If one chants the holy name of the Lord with great attachment, he can understand his position as an eternal servant of the spiritual master, other Vaishnavas, and Krishna himself. Thus the intermediate Vaishnava considers himself Krishna Dasa, Krishna's servant. He therefore preaches Krishna consciousness to innocent neophytes and stresses the importance of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. An intermediate devotee can identify the non-devotee or motivated devotee. The motivated devotee or the non-devotee are on the material platform, and they are called Prakruta. The intermediate devotee does not mix with such materialistic people. However, he understands that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and everything related to him are on the transcendental platform. Actually, none of them are mundane. 73. Varsantare punhatandra arche prashna kaila Vaishnavera taratmya prabhusikaila. The following year, the inhabitants of Kulinagram again asked the Lord the same question. Hearing this question, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again taught them about the different types of Vaishnavas. 74. Yanhara darshanenu ke aishe Krishna nama Anhare jani hatumi Vaishnava pradhana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, a first-class Vaishnava is he whose very presence makes others chant the holy name of Krishna. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that if an observer immediately remembers the holy name of Krishna upon seeing a Vaishnava, that Vaishnava should be considered a Mahabhagavata, first-class devotee. Such a Vaishnava is always aware of his Krishna consciousness duty, and he is enlightened in self-realization. He is always in love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and this love is without adulteration. Because of this love, he is always awake to transcendental realization. Because he knows that Krishna consciousness is the basis of knowledge and action, he sees everything as being connected with Krishna. Such a person is able to chant the holy name of Krishna perfectly. Such the Mahabhagavata Vaishnava has transcendental eyes to see who is sleeping under the spell of Maya, and he engages himself in awakening sleeping conditioned beings by spreading the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. He opens eyes that are closed by forgetfulness of Krishna. Thus, the living entity is liberated from the dullness of material energy and is engaged fully in the service of the Lord. Madhyama Adhikari Vaishnava can awaken others to Krishna consciousness and engage them in duties whereby they can advance. It is therefore said in the Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila, chapter 6, verse 279, Lohake yavatsparshi hemanahi kare yavatsparsha mani keha chinite na pare. One cannot understand the value of touchstone until it turns iron into gold. One should judge by action, not by promises. Mahabhagavata can turn a living entity from abominable material life into the Lord's service. This is the test of a Mahabhagavata. Although preaching is not meant for a Mahabhagavata can descend to the platform of Madhyama Bhagavata. just to convert others to Vaishnavism. Actually, Mahabhagavata is fit to spread Krishna consciousness, but he does not distinguish where Krishna consciousness should be spread from where it should not. He thinks that everyone is competent to accept Krishna consciousness if the chance is provided. A neophyte and the intermediate devotee should always be eager to hear from the Mahabhagavata and serve him in every respect. The neophyte and intermediate devotees can gradually raise to the platform of Uttama Adhikari and become first-class devotees. Symptoms of a first-class devotee are given in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.45. Sarva bhuteshu yapasya bhagavad bhavam atmana bhutani bhagavati yatmanya bhutani bhagavatyatmanyesha bhagavato tama. The most advanced devotee sees within everything the soul of all souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord and understands that everything that exists is eternally situated within the Lord. When teaching Sanatana Goswami, the Lord further said, Shastra yukche sunipi puna dudha shraddha yanra utama adhikari setaraye samsara. One who is expert in the Vedic literature and has full faith in the Supreme Lord is an Uttama Adhikari, a first-class Vaishnava, a topmost Vaishnava who can deliver the whole world and turn everyone into Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya lila 22.65. With great love and affection, the Mahabhagavata observes the Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotional service, and the devotee. He observes nothing beyond Krishna, Krishna consciousness, and Krishna's devotees. Mahabhagavata knows that everyone is engaged in the Lord's service in different ways. He therefore descends to the middle platform to elevate everyone to the Krishna conscious position. Maharaj, can we end here? Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nimalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Nishkama Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Vijnani Muni Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Maharaj.